I am not joking you. The cocktail party is bucket worthy. Get ready.
You are Locked On Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Locked On Bulldogs podcast. You know it's part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team each and every day. Today's episode brought to you by our friends over at GameTime. Download the GameTime app today. More on them in a moment. He, of course, is Clint. I am Daniel. Together, we're the Locked On Bulldogs podcast. It's better when both of us are on here. But shout out to M-Dubs for filling in a pinch, coming on, carrying the show up the mountain the way he always does.
Every time.
But today we're back. It's an important week, Clint. I'm not sure if you're aware of this.
I'm very aware.
But every Georgia fan should hate Florida with the fire of 1,000 suns, fueled by the fire of 1,000 additional suns. This is the week of the cocktail party. Florida is the worst. Just because they haven't been relevant in college football in darn near 2 decades does not mean you should forget that they are, in fact, the worst. They're a basketball school, essentially equivalent to Duke at this point, but they're still the worst. This is still an incredibly important game for Georgia. And as you mentioned in the opening, it is a bucket-worthy game for Georgia fans. It is a game that should make you nervous as a Georgia fan. I had an absolute imbecile this week tell me. I'm talking about an absolute imbecile, Clint. Probably the type of guy that listens to podcasts in the shower. He told me this week there was no chance that I was even remotely nervous that Georgia was going to lose to Florida. I mean, it's Florida. They're garbage. Come on. You're just saying that. I'm sorry. Let me give you a case in 3 points. Okay, can I make 3 points?
You may.
Point A. Have you watched college football this year? Like at all?
Chaos abounds.
Have you seen any of it? Have you just put eyes on the product on the field at all this year? Okay, that's point 1. Point 2. Did they just fire their coach? And does that typically give a team a little bit of a boost? I don't know. Did you peep UCLA after they fired their coach and what they were able to do? Now, again, they ran into a legitimate sociopath in Indiana head coach over the weekend. We're not going to even discuss that. But after they fired their coach, they went boom, boom, boom. First 3 wins of the season.
Correct. Teams
get a little bit of a boost when they fire their head coach.
They do.
And 3, and I mentioned this last week, everybody on that Florida roster is playing for next year's NIL money in the portal. When Lane Kiffin takes the LSU job, he's going to want to offer some of those guys a lot of money to come play for him. So everybody at Florida's got a ton to play for. And little old Georgia comes into town 7-1, riding high, 6-1, I guess, riding high, feeling good. Everything in front of them. Number 5 in the country.
Yeah.
Unranked Florida, hapless Florida, can't get it done Florida. This has got all the makings. I mean, Las Vegas is trying to tell you, look at these 2 teams.
This is not 7.5 points is not the points on paper for these 2 teams. Talent-wise, not close. Coaching-wise, not close. Recent history, not
That's
close.
Right.
So it's under double digits.
And yet here we are.
And you understand what we're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is bucket worthy.
Yes. Well, when South Carolina came out and they were only an 11-point underdog to Alabama over the weekend, people said, but Alabama, they've beaten ranked teams in 4 consecutive weeks. I'm not sure if you've ever heard that, but no one is in the history of the SEC has ever beaten 4 ranked teams in 4 consecutive weeks. Can you believe Alabama?
And then what happened?
And then what happened was Alabama needed a miraculous fumble in order to even think about winning that game. This is a similar type of vibe for Georgia in this game. I hate it. I hate everything about it.
It's the exact same vibe. I'm glad you brought up the South Carolina-Alabama game because that's exactly where I was going to go. On paper, these two teams are not similar at all, Florida and Georgia. Florida's offense is nowhere near the threat that we've already played a number of better offenses and will play a number of better offenses. Florida's not in the top half of offenses we play this entire year. They got a good run game. They got a quarterback who makes questionable decisions almost on every single drop back he has. However, throw all of that out the window because a new play caller, a new coach, a new thought process, a simplified let athletes play and go out and do something. There are many things Florida's offense is. DJ Lagway is one of the most special athletes in college football. I did not say quarterback. I did not say football player even. I said athletes. He has the ability to wreck your game simply by playing backyard, whatever he wants. 2, that running back is tough as nails. Baugh is tough as nails. Florida's already got some linemen. They're already there. We're dealing with a number of injuries. The whole secondary for Florida seems like they're out. Were this last week, and who knows what we're going to see this coming week. But again, this is the type of game that gets sideways in a hurry. Talent is nowhere on the same level. Coaching is nowhere on the same level. Vegas is telling you something. I hate playing this offense. I thought that Billy Napier peacing out, getting sent home was going to be a boost to Georgia because I thought it was going to be a distraction. I thought Florida players were going to start tanking the season, looking around. And then all of a sudden, college football carousel of coaching said, hold the phone because you thought that was something. Let me automatically jump Florida job with 3 other open positions, 4 if rumors of Texas are sincere. And how coaching works, especially Lane Kiffin, that has done well in the NIL era and the transfer portal. His defense last year, not this year, last year was incredible in the portal. His offense this year with the quarterback that saved his entire season that he didn't start. Again, we could talk about that all we want. Was from the portal.
Well, he put him in on the 2-point conversion play. So
No. You got that inverted, Daniel. He took out the better one and put in the
got cute with it. Got real cute.
What I was told was a Heisman front runner better than Gunnar Stockton. This is a dangerous timing game for Georgia.
It's bad.
If this had been 2 weeks earlier or 2 weeks later, and I know it's the same, Clint, it's the same day. I know. I'm just within the timeline of coaching and other decision makers in college football. I would have a different feel to this game. This is horrible timing with everything that's going around in college football.
I don't care for it. I don't care for it at all. We got more that we're going to discuss about the aforementioned coaching carousel, Georgia's upcoming opponents, all that we saw in college football this weekend, all of that and more. But first, these.
And these are, in fact, game time. College football back. Couldn't be more excited. Tailgates, rivalries, energy in the stands, endless queues and hidden fees, prices jumping at checkout. That's not what you need as you're trying to get into the game.
No.
That's why Daniel and I use GameTime. No surprise fee. What you see is what you pay. It's super simple, the app. Look, the exact view from our seat when we were buying and the deal right there. No markups when you got all the way to checkout for hidden ghost fees. Take the guesswork out of buying college football tickets. GameTime. Download the GameTime app. Create an account. Use promo code LOCKEDONCollege. $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, promo code LOCKEDONCollege. $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download GameTime today.
Clint, anything noteworthy happened over the weekend? I was away from my television for a bit. Everything pretty much status quo in college football?
I'm going to say statements to you.
Okay.
And these are not statements that I am forcing myself to say, but rather statements that I believe to be true.
Oh, interesting. We'll try that.
Okay. Indiana is a terrifying school that is afraid of no one in college football. And right now on neutral fields would be favored against almost everyone in college football.
People have to start learning to look past the name on the jersey.
Yep.
It's Florida State isn't Florida State. Clemson isn't Clemson. Indiana isn't Indiana anymore. Mendoza is a lock first-round draft pick. A stone cold lock first-round draft pick. That Indiana defense is salty as all Georgia fans. Earmuffs.
It's hard.
I would trade our defense en masse for Indiana's defense right now.
It's like
Georgia fans are going to crucify me for saying that. I defy you to use logic and facts to dispute what I just said.
That team, that defense is full of guys that are like J.J. Watt. And what I mean by that is dudes that just love playing football. And you might not know their name and you might think they're not good, but they get on the field and you know what they do? They produce at the highest level possible.
Well, we got a bunch of 5-stars on our defense, Clint. We have recruited really well on the defensive side. Why would you want to trade them to?
There has something to do with coaching, Daniel, on the defensive side.
Yes. Maybe I would need to trade our defense and coordinator. For Indiana's defense and coordinator.
I'm not faulting you for that. I'm going to say something else that is not false whatsoever.
Yeah.
The SEC is nowhere near determined who the 4 playoff teams and if we get 4 playoff teams.
Yeah, I think we'll get 4.
Right
I think people are talking about there's a chance we'll get 5. I'm not sure that the SEC will get 5.
It's 4.
There's a lot to be determined.
And then lastly, the reason I don't know who the 4 are, because there's a lot to be determined so far. I said playoff, not top of the SEC. I said playoff. Is because
trying to win another game.
Half the SEC is currently on LinkedIn trying to find resume searches for en masse coaching hires, not just head coaches, strength coordinators, defensive coordinators, special teams. Everybody is looking for a job right now.
I'll be dead honest with you, Clint. I bought it. I bought LSU at Tiger Stadium at night. Catching points.
Being a playoff team this year. I had Alabama, Georgia, A&M, and LSU. Those are my
I had
4.
them on the money line on Saturday.
Ooh,
I bought it.
You did.
I bought it hook, line, and sinker. I'm going to name 2 teams, and you're going to tell me which one is better.
Oh,
it's not a hard concept. Okay.
Simple.
Alabama and Texas A&M.
I have a lot of respect now this year for what Alabama has done. But I said
these are the 2 best teams in the SEC, Georgia fans, and you know it. We all know it. Okay.
And look.
It doesn't mean we can't win a national championship.
And it doesn't mean we can press. It doesn't mean 5 weeks from now a whole different story is taking place. All of that can still be true.
Ohio State was not one of the 2 best teams in the Big Ten last year.
Nowhere near.
So,
but it's A&M, Daniel. And Ty Simpson should be in New York for the Heisman ceremony. I got a lot of respect. Jam, they were held to, by the way, I'm picking on myself here, Daniel, to a conversation we had last week. We were talking about the run game for Alabama.
You just misspoke.
Well, they had 12 yards rushing in the 4th quarter.
Power run team.
I was blown away by that fact.
It wasn't great.
Unit.
A&M is a unit. All right, I'm going to give you 2 more teams. You ready?
Yeah.
Vanderbilt and Georgia Tech. I just want to know who's a better team.
Diego Pavia, go get you some. You are living life, and I'm
he's
glad
out
you're
there
high on
living.
tech.
Livin, living.
Theo Vaughn and you got exchanging digits, which
Sure.
Okay. Brent Key has Georgia Tech squarely heading to the ACC championship, a playoff berth. And look, who has a better chance right now of all the teams you just listed to have a bye week in week one of the playoff besides Georgia Tech? They win the ACC.
They go 11-1 and then win the ACC championship game. They got a strong case.
They're fourth. They're number 4.
For number 4. At least they'll be hosting a playoff game.
Minimum.
And it will be the least attended college football playoff game ever in the history of the playoffs so far because it'll be the smallest stadium that a game has been.
Brent Key is running circles around people.
College football is a hot mess right now.
Yeah.
It is chaos on every level. And as you mentioned, nowhere is it more chaotic than in the SEC coaching search. I'm going to tell you the single greatest thing that the Georgia football program has ever done in its multi-hundred-year history.
This isn't hyperbole.
Right after we come back.
But we want to first let you know about FanDuel. Daniel, FanDuel is fantastic. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get on the actual FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. Look, if you miss the start of a game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets. Everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can combine live bets in the same game parlay for a shot at bigger payout. It keeps getting more exciting. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So go ahead, get Ant-Man plus 25 points. Go ahead, take the over on that.
Not mad
at FanDuel.com. Sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA.
This is going to make me sound old. Most things do, but I can't tell you how many times I've gone to live bet a game and then realized I was recording that game and gotten it spoiled for me on FanDuel. Not FanDuel's fault, my own fault. Watching a game, gone to live bet the game, and then realized, oh, shoot, I'm an hour behind on this game because I had to put my kids to bed. And so we're
going to go ahead and tell you something's coming in the coming months where you're going to get more access to Georgia football. You're going to get more access. We have big announcements coming. I think one of my favorite things is going to be the behind the scenes pre-production, post-production insight to Daniel and I. Yeah. We're going to spill the tea on some things.
Yeah.
Just how old
I may
this
zoom
man
out
is.
And show you the rest of the studio. I mean, I'll just tell you that. People were nervous for my safety for a while, but
I still am. All right, Daniel, you teased the people. You said, when we come back, the single greatest thing that Georgia football in the history of its program, the decision that it had done that was better than any other decision it has ever made.
Yeah. You know, when you hire a head coach, you got a lot of choices that you have to make.
You do.
What kind of a head coach are you going to go for?
That's right.
You're going to go for a recruiter. You're going to go with someone who has ties to the area. You're going to go with a guy who's a proven winner. You're going to go with a guy with a ton of experience. You're going to go for a big flashy hire. When a team like the University of Georgia fires its longtime beloved, universally beloved head coach, and then chooses to hire a man with 0 minutes of head coaching experience in his life, a lot of eyebrows were raised. A lot of, if you could take yourself back to 2000 and whatever year that was, 2016, 2015, 2016, a lot of eyebrows were raised. A lot of mocking comments were made. when Georgia chose to hire a guy with zero head coaching experience, a guy who had been, quote, carried by Nick Saban for his entire career. You know who the real defensive coordinator at Alabama was. You know who the real mastermind behind this man's been riding Nick Saban's coattails, never done anything for himself.
No.
And you're going to replace perennial 10-win season Mark Richt with this guy? Conversely, Clint, let me paint a picture for you.
I love it. This
could be the University of Florida. And you could decide, you know where we're going to go to get our head coach. Let's get a University of Texas defensive coordinator named Will Muschamp. Let's hire him to replace our legendary championship winning coach who has quit on our program to go coach at Ohio State. Let's choose him, and then let's mock Georgia fans that we, quote, stole their head coach. If that doesn't work out, maybe we can go to Colorado State, a proven winner, a guy who's won at a smaller school, and he's gonna step up to the big time and show us that he can win at a larger school. Maybe we can get him, and he can change the trajectory of the program. If he doesn't work out, maybe we can go with a disciple of our beloved Urban Meyer. We can go with a guy that, you know, we can bring back the quarterback whisperer that got Tim Tebow to be who Tim Tebow was, the guy that puts all the pieces together, an offensive genius. We can bring that guy into the program. If he doesn't work out, maybe we can go back to a small school, because that worked out so well with Jim McElwain. And we could go back and hire a guy that's won one Sun Belt title in the history of the program. Florida's about to hire their 5th coach in the last 12 years.
Oh, no.
Georgia has hired 5 coaches in the last 100 years. These are 2 categorically different programs. LSU needs a coach. They decide we're going to make a big splashy hire. We're going to pry the Notre Dame head coach away from them in what has to be the most hilarious coup of all time, that Notre Dame was able to not pay a buyout and get rid of Brian Kelly
and upgrade instantly at head coach.
Meanwhile, LSU is paying a buyout to get rid of the very same Brian Kelly.
It's laughable.
Georgia doesn't, like, Georgia fans, we've said often on this podcast, and I know I'm going off and I'm spending a lot of time talking about this. It is worth just really dwelling on. There is no program in college football that wouldn't trade their head coach today for Kirby Smart.
There's
no program.
There's one elite coach in all of college football. And I'm going to run down. And I just told you who I actually think is the second closest to it. I've already mentioned his name. It's Marcus. I think Marcus Freeman is the second best coach. And I'll tell you why. Lane, hoop and holler, and offensive genius, and a whole lot of steam. That's what Lane is. Yep. And he'll punch you out a couple of times. Yeah. You can't sustain. Okay?
Lane Kiffin will be fired from his next job. If Lane Kiffin knows what's good for him, he will stay at Ole Miss, where they're not good enough to know that they deserve better than him.
That's the big thing. Ryan Day is being bolstered up by a run of guys who, for whatever reason, love Ohio State more than they do their own well-being. And have boosters and have offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators that are better coaches than he.
You've described everyone in Ohio.
I
inadvertently.
Look, Florida's the worst school. The state of Ohio is the worst state in the entire
Be
union.
careful getting into a fist fight with states when Florida's involved. Okay, they're the worst school, but also they got a thing or two to say about the worst state.
I understand. They're the second worst, right behind Ohio.
Right.
Okay.
Louisiana also knocking at the door, looking to get in on some roughhousing.
I was told we would not speak of it again.
Yeah.
Look, when you talk about Kirby Smart, the first thing you talk about is the culture setting leadership that he brings to a program and the love of football, and that being the absolute exclamation point. The punctuation on his coaching tenure and coaching style is culture setting. It's the same reason that Marcus Freeman is going to be a problem for years to come at Notre Dame. Is not because recruiting that will come and go. We've seen that. Guys who are fads and guys who can ride the wave, that's fine. Lane,
they'll end up with a good team.
Yes.
Like Mike Norvell did.
There we go.
And they'll ride that good team into a big paycheck and a big buyout. And then a couple of years later, that school will be scrambling around trying to figure out how to pay that big buyout.
We want the next big offensive mastermind. Okay, it's a fad. Again, the Wildcat was the big offensive mastermind.
Yeah.
And when you run it, it's a gimmick play for a 2-point conversion now. That's what that offense was. Okay? You want culture-setting people. Ryan Day's not it. Dabo Swinney, not it. Norvell, not it. Napier, not it. Kelly, not it. Lane, not it. You can't define for me when the first thing out of their mouth is that coach loves football more than he loves his own well-being. That's a culture set. We have the biggest one in all of college football. So will there always be pure dominance like 21 and 22? Nope.
Never again.
Will we always be in the fight for a national championship team?
Always.
Always. And that's the difference between Kirby Smart in Georgia.
Right.
And everyone else in America.
Yeah. I mean, Georgia is currently fielding the worst defense that Kirby Smart has ever fielded at the University of Georgia. Argue with anybody that you want to. I don't care.
I'm your biggest advocate to fight him on that statement, and I can't do it.
It's the worst defense Georgia has ever fielded under Kirby Smart. And even me, who guarantees you that there's another loss coming on the schedule, even I think we're still pretty much a lock to make the college football playoff. Like, we're going to make the college football playoff with this defense.
Because of Kirby freaking Smart.
Yeah. And I mean, Kalen DeBoer having a great season this year.
Yeah, it is.
So he'll be 1 for 2 making the college football playoff as the Alabama coach, 50%. Hopefully he can keep that percentage up. It's tough.
Keep it going.
It's tough. Kirby, meanwhile, is always going to have Georgia in it. Period. Correct. We have the best coach in college football. As you see this coaching carousel happen, do 2 things for me. One, they both involve prayer. And so if you're not a spiritual person, I don't know what to tell you at this point. But the first is to pray and be thankful that you have Kirby Smart. The second is, as you see this coaching carousel go on, pray that someone offers Glenn Schumann a job. That's the second prayer that you can just toss up as you're going. Like, hey, UCLA, wouldn't you like to have Glenn Schumann?
I happen to think the worst defense ever at Georgia, Kirby, he's doing a heck of a job.
Hey, Florida State, wouldn't you like to have Glenn Schumann? He is Clint. I am Daniel. We'll have more on this cocktail party as we go throughout the week. We got lots to discuss about DJ Lagway and Florida. What kind of an offense should we be expecting? What kind of defense will Georgia be up against? All of that and more next time on the Locked On Bulldogs podcast. We'll see you then.
See you.